is a farmer from near Tuba in KwaZulu-Natal. She has been practicing permaculture and agroecology pretty much forever, definitely for more than 30 years, and has learned different names for what she does over the years, but she's been doing it since she learned a great many edible and medicinal plants from her parents when she was young. And the amazing knowledge that she has, she shares it freely in the spirit of agroecology. She helps children start gardens. She teaches people at universities about cooking with traditional and indigenous plants. She makes healing teas and products for her neighbors and helps them to grow them.
Hello, Sanbonani. I don't have to talk and sing. I want Baba Mkalipi to be next to me. Baba Lawrence. Yeah, that is Gogo Qho. I'm from Matuba. I was born in the small place near Matuba that I call it Engopeni. That is the area where I was born. Now I'm in near Matuba again. It was Kwankombose area where I stay now. I grow all these things from there, next to Kwankombose. I'm a citizen of Matuba Tuba. I started that things because I see so many things that disappear from the land and everything. People that growing, they don't want to grow, they're making houses everywhere. They're selling the land for the houses. They're selling the land for the small houses for the people that come near to town to do the work. And I look at all this when I look behind and I say, no, that will be not enough land for us, because I grow with my mom, was farming. All the place my mom was using is full of houses. When you go to Hlulu, where you can see houses along where my mom and my father and my granddad were making food there, making sweet potato, everything. Now it's full of houses when you go there. It's no place anymore now. Even where I stay, I wanted to make houses, just houses, no food, houses. Baba Kalipi can explain for that, because he knows where I stay. He knows what I'm doing. I want to thank those people that are just helping me to forward. I like to thank Baba Mkalipi with the Buyer Watch, that is my partner. I want to thank the University of Vuselelo Ngoya. That was the first time to come and meet me at Kwabohoza and encourage me to carry on. I had small garden for herbs with everything, but because of him, I make more. I asked my sister to give me more land. I got 1.5 hectares to do everything near me. But at that the first time I had herbs garden was 40 by 20 centimeter around near my house. But there I got 90 different kind of herbs in that small garden. But there in my big garden I got plenty, I don't even to count how many. Plenty of indigenous things. That Baba Kalipi, where I start, you're going to be there. But you can see my gardener. You can see what I got there. All different kind of herbs I got there. There's some of them, people that don't know how to cook it. People that don't know what is that. Even the agriculture, I was with a partner with the agriculture near Matuba where I stay. When I talk to them to come to my garden, I say, no, clean this garden, it's full of rubbish, it's full of that, it's full of that. And I say, one day I stand like this, and I say, wow, that people, they want to kill me, huh? You want to kill me. I say, no, now I'm not going to do what I say. It's better to stop working with them. And I found Lawrence. Lawrence come to me and say, wow, that is lovely, what you make. That is a Ashom Kalipi, that is this and this and this and this and this and this is for healing, and for this I used to heal people, I used to heal children. One day they called me to the clinic and I say, come to the clinic and to explain. for the people to stop what they're doing. And I say, no, I can't go to the clinic. Because of the people, they're busy making money with the people for the clinic. How can I say that they mustn't go to the clinic? They mustn't go to the doctor. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my life. And it's better to stay away from that because nobody wants to stop what they want to do. They say, no, Gogo, because you old, that's why you're eating all this marrow, all this, what they call it, they call it amaranthus, all this wheat, they call it wheat. They say, no, we're not allowed to eat that. You want to kill us. One day, I just sit back and I look at my friend. My friend is Tudi Galloway. She came to my garden. She named the garden of mine. She said, this is permaculture you're doing. That's why I said, this is Vezindaba permaculture. You can see this is Vezindaba permaculture herbs garden because she said I'm doing permaculture. I didn't know I'm doing permaculture. I know I'm doing just what I learned from my mom. Because they didn't put the name. They said this is a crop I grow up, was everything near there. We're eating everything in the garden. But I didn't know that this was a permaculture. Now I know I'm doing several food. They say, that Gogo Qho, she's a permaculturist. Gogo Qho. People, they come to my house, like Kalipi. He said, you're doing permaculturist. You are permaculturist. I said, oh, I'm a permaculturist. I was so happy for that because I didn't know I'm a permaculturist. Now I'm doing agroecology. I'm an agroecology. Oh, that's good. Oh, I'm happy today. I'm an agroecology. Because when they look in my garden, they find everything they need. It's for healing, healing food, healing everything. You drink tea and you get healed. Everything what you get in Gogo Qho's garden is for healing. That is, I'm so happy today because I was sitting crying in my house because my sister's boy, I called him Kalipi to take photos in my garden. I said, only one man can help me for this. It's Lawrence. I just phoned Lawrence. And I said, please come to my garden and look what is happening. And I called Induna and I said, what can I do with this? But nobody knows where I stay, what I'm doing. Nobody. They come to my garden, they see the weeds. But I was crying because it's my crop. This is my life. From 25 years not going to the doctor. I heal myself in the garden. If you take the garden away, you're killing me. You want me to die. And one of my sister's son, he said, if that can help her. He used to have car already now because she's been doing that. Still my mommy was there. My sister passed away and leave me where I am. And now the children, they said, now we want that land to make the house. And I was busy crying. I see my phone say, crick, 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 crick. And when I look at the phone, it's the message from overseas with Vuselelo. Vuselelo said, I got someone who wants to go with you to Cape Town. I said, what? To Cape Town? I go outside and I look at my neighbor's children. Can you read here for me? And the children said, Gogo, are you going to Cape Town with someone from overseas? I said, I don't know. But I was waiting for the call. And I tried to get hold of this lady. And she tried to get hold of me. But we missed just like that. Nobody's getting. And I just wait for my granddaughter to come home. And she comes home and I give her the phone. I say, can you read here for me? And she read. And she said, you're going to Cape Town, Gogo with Britain. But I don't know Britain. I said, they're going to kill me there. I said, no, what I'm going to do? How can I get to the to the airport, because I never go to the airport on my life, on my age. How can I go there? I said, no, maybe I can call Britain, or I can call people from Devon. I knew people, I know some of the Pumla and someone else to do something for me. But I remember again, I said, no, I must call Lawrence to help me with all these things. And Lawrence helped me to give me the number, and I give to that lady, and I'm here today. That one you can see is from my garden. I got all different of kind of varieties. I say this is varieties, I don't know, because I say this sweet potato, different kind of sweet potato, and I don't use oil when I'm cooking. That is my old age, because I'm here now, I'm university. Now I'm all this, I got some cassava. You can see cassava, the cassava powder, cassava cookies. I use all what I got in my garden for something. If you want to come and learn how to cook and how to plant and how to do things, to change to be what I call it, Lawrence, if you change food? Transforming food to a new, for now, for the young people or for everyone to eat. And I can do it. Because my experience is like that. Some of them I learned from there. They say, Gogo, you must take photo for everything what you got. For in your garden, if you're growing something, if you're harvesting, if you're processing, they say it's processing, if you're doing something and you change food. But I'm doing processing, I'm doing planting, I'm doing just my alone. I'm just asking children to help me for writing. And Lawrence is the one who's near me. He take me for his Paul and Sam. They helping for writing. One day I got a visitors, but she's going to see herself in my house when I come there. Is there. I got the visitors for food and all these things, all this picture you see here. And I got something and I plant. I put all my nice compost together, everything from the kitchen, I make compost nicely. One day when I go there, I see, what is this? This is a mushroom. We call it amakowe. I found amakowe on my compost. That because I say, no, can I eat that? Because I'm going to die. Because I say, no, there's no poison in here. Because all these skills from my kitchen. But I eat it. But I'm fine. Yes. And this one you see, this one is indigenous cucumber. This one. This is a cucumber like the cucumber you got in the shop. You can plant your cucumber. I got some seed there. You can plant that cucumber from there. Everything is there. Pictures. I used to collect the bouquet, but I must make the label. What is that? Yeah, the labels for writing. If in my garden, each and every plant has got something to do on your body, something to do on your life. And you can drink this, you can cook, you can do what you want. How many, my friend Trudy, she come and explain to me, this is a herb seed, this is this and this and this and this and this. And I say, I learned this from my parents. But my parents, they never write anything. They just give us to drink. And if sometimes your children's got some fever, the clinic say, stay away for a week out of school. But if you drink Gogo Qho's herbs, tomorrow you go back to school. Yes. you come from school and say, no, Gogo, I'm sick, I can drink that, you go to bed. Next morning, you get up and you go to school. That's it. That's why I'm calling my food is healing food. What I eat is for healing. What I drink is for healing. Everything, the way I plant is for healing. But the problem is, in our area, it's full of chemical everywhere. We're trying to do the organic food, but because of your neighbor, they're using poison, they don't care. You used to stop them, you used to say that, they say that is the way that you stand on your way and we do it on our way. Because we close together now. I try all my best to keep my plant away from them, and I used to say to them, please my neighbor, if you're using your poison, look what is the wind is blowing. Don't put your poison on when it's coming to my plot. Please. I used to, but if I'm not there, that's happening. This is the food I'm cooking. I asked Lawrence to come to my house. They asked for me we got millet. And we got 2 different millet. We got millet from the shop. I used to cook that different kind of things. And I see, that mine is 100%. The indigenous one is very nice for cooking. That's why they come here to test. And this is my house, this is my kitchen. That kitchen I make from UKZN. They just working with me they make contract with me. And we're working together for 2 years. I get the money from them. I make my own kitchen for all my things to be there. No children touching everything in my kitchen. I got my own kitchen. I got a kitchen for the children. I got my own kitchen. That's why they're comfortable to sit there when you see. This is my kitchen. Lawrence is the one. He's the one on 100 people in Matuba. He's the one, he knows me better. It's him and Gogo Qho, the white lady. I've been with Gogo Qho. She knows me better than my family. She knows me what I eat, what I don't eat. And she knows me when I'm sleeping, when I'm cross. She knows me. We've been together for 30 years, that lady. We grow children together with them. But she knows me very well. And I got someone in now, she knows me. How many years? 4 years. We together with them. Because everyone, but near where I stay, we need your people to encourage, because we're here together now. You know Gogo Qho, where she stay, and you can, what I must do, because where we stay. Okay. Thank you so much. There I am now. This is the place. You finished with it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
I just wanted maybe not to necessarily pose it to the panelists, maybe the room as well. Can we maybe speak a little bit about agroecology in relation to farm animals? Because that's the area of my interest, and more animal welfare work. And 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Eat Lancet sort of wrote a paper which of course advocates for more fruits and veg and maybe less of red meat, but I mean there's a role that livestock plays in agroecology as well. Can we maybe speak a little bit about that from the panelist or from the floor?
Maybe following on what he is asking, there are some beautiful examples in Chad, in Ethiopia, in Algeria about crab. Crab is a mixture of white cereals, so like wheat, that are grasses, and they have been called famine food because people collect those seeds that are very small for feeding themselves, and those are cereals, and they are not vegetables or market plants. So, and those plants are eaten for animals in open grasslands, but can be collected and grown as mixture, and this is very resilient. Do you have anything like that here? Because it's a knowledge that is lost, and it could be a very resilient type of mixture of cereals. So is there anything like that?
You mentioned kind of trying to teach people around you and so on, but is there any way in which your incredible knowledge around these forms of farming and nutrition and health and so on is getting transferred, or ways to ensure that it gets transferred and preserved and continued long after you?
Gogo bacela ukubuza ukuthi abantu abasha la emphakathini osuka khona baya ukusebenzisana nabo luthini uvu labo I'm just asking the interaction with the youth within your community, whether they're involved, whether they're interested, and also the other panelists as well, with food, because we also eat food, and we just don't know like what's going on, you know, and we are constantly changing, and I'm affected big time. I'm even my mind, because I'm taking medication at the moment, I'm like, do I even need to take this? I mean, surely there's another way that I can get better without having to down 3 pills 3 times a day. That's 9 pills a day. A week, what's 9 times 5? You know, it's a bit hectic for me. So, and I'm young. I mean, I want to get to Gogo Qho's age, but like, like, it's just too much. It's really too much. And I just want to know, with the youth and the participation, are any of you guys involved? And because I'm really interested.
Ngisebenzisana bakhona angisebenzisana nabo kodwa university bathumela abantwana beze kimi bezofunda kodwa benza ama research ahlukene bayibazama abanye ukuthi bafike bezothola ukuthi ukudla engikudlayo badle khona ngoba ngengaya esitolo mangabe kunabantwana mhlambe bawu15 mhlambe bawu20 kodwa bebefike ekhaya bafike badle lokhu kudla abazokuthola kimi ibona ke engathi ke kwama university iwona engisasebenzisana nawo amabili uNgoye neUKZN UniZulu and UKZN yilabo engisasebenzisana nabo kwamanje ngoba bangithole nge2012 ngiqala ukusebenzisana nama university endaweni Gogo angifuni ukukamba amanga ukuthi endaweni bangibuka njengomuntu ohlanyayo ngoba bathi lezi izinto engizenzayo abakaze babone ukuthi umsuzwane uyathatha ufake ekudleni unsukumbili uyadliwa uchaphosi uyadliwa bathi izinyanga kuphela esisebenzisa amakhambi njengoba niwabona nje abazi abantu ukuthi amakhambi ayadliwa imina kuphela engakhula ngokuthi ngibone ukuthi lento uma iphuzwa ifanele ukuthi idliwe ekudleni.
For both questions, the last question, Lady and Andrew, about the generation transfer of knowledge, intergenerational transfer of knowledge, she's saying at local level, they see her as a mad person. But at the university level, there are academics, students that are brought to her for learning cycles. Sometimes she receives them for more than 3 days. And while they are there, they are eating what she grows. The question about livestock, maybe while I've got a privilege of having the mic, is a myth that you always need livestock in your farming system. Yes, African farmers do have both animals and crops together, which is a bonus. She does not have any animals, but she's farming good and she's healthy. Is the other thing that we must just be aware of, that the larger the animals is, and also concentrated feedlots are the one that is causing a problem of methane for green gas emissions for this global warming. So you need to also have the control livestock size and numbers.
In relation to the grains, very briefly put, the Cape Floristic region is not a grassland region, so our carbohydrates, and I'll hand it over to you in a moment to speak a little bit more about that. Our carbohydrates sit in our underground storage organs, so it's a very different thing. In relation to youth, I think that that's absolutely critical to engage young people in conversations around food and in conversations around indigenous food. Some of that is beginning to happen in the slow food movement. In the work that I do, I think it's extremely important to make this kind of work really sexy, because engaging young people is the only way in which we're going to ensure that there's any kind of life in this work. So for me, that's very important, and I'd like Elzaan maybe just to come forward and speak briefly about the work that she's been doing in relation to USOs in the Cape Floristic region.
So the grain question is very interesting because I do research on hunter-gatherers of the Western Cape and what they ate, and specifically geophytes, so underground storage organs. And in the Western Cape, like Louis said, we are in the fynbos, and there's very low density and diversity of grass species in comparison to the rest of Africa. So farming of crops and how it developed is closely linked to grains and grasses, wild grasses. So that's one of the reasons we believe why farming of crops never really developed in the Western Cape before colonialism. So the colonists actually brought farming of crops. People were pastoralists, so they had animals. So really the underground storage organs was believed to be the staple of people in the Western Cape. And even in the grasslands of the rest of South Africa, geophytes are also one of the biggest biomasses of wild food. Most of the people that are working with wild foods and bringing them back into our diets in the Western Cape are working with leafy greens or fruits, and those are all things that you can harvest semi-sustainably wild because you don't kill the plant. Underground storage organs, however, if you harvest just like sweet potatoes, if you harvest the sweet potato, the plant dies. So we are doing a lot of work trying to figure out ways that these things can be produced sustainably in the future. But there's a lot of work still to do, and there's so little information available about it, and like Lupi says, there's such a big demand. So we're really trying our best to keep an eye on how people are introducing these things in the restaurant industry specifically, and in businesses, and that they do it ethically for the environment, but also for the people who are supposed to be holding this knowledge and who this knowledge belongs to.
The question about the issue with the livestock and the animals, I'm very glad that Lawrence said that, because on the one hand, for example, in the city of Cape Town, we have this, it's stagnant at the moment, but we have this urban agricultural policy of the city of Cape Town, which at the end of when there was someone sitting in office was mostly about urban husbandry, so all the lots and lots of animals that are roaming around the city. But the reality of most urban farmers is that they don't have access to, they're not farming with animals, it's mostly plants. So if you're doing animals, it's separate to the farm. But in terms of fertility, people are buying in or bringing in manure, composted manure, stuff like this. So what we've recently started is a project around fermenting seaweed to add as soil fertility, because the seaweed is washed up every day, kicked out of the ocean, and is freely available if you have a permit. But the ones that are washed up, people just collect anyways. You just need a bucket to get them, and then you just need to ferment the saline out of them. And then the story of the grains also, I mean, I've been, in all the years I've been doing this food work, from time and again, I've been handed grain that's been wild harvested that people have eaten. But it grows very specific places and in very specific ways. And a big thing about that is that people recognize it's millet and sorghum. and I'm sure I'm forgetting other ones. Hey Andrew, hey Claire. But there are lots of wild grains that are available, but not in this region, in other parts of the country. And there is still some stigma around that. Then on the youth topic, that's something so close to my heart. When I started, there you are. When I started working in this organizational world, I was like 26, 27, something like that. And I was always the youngest. When we traveled around the country, going to the other organizations, going everywhere, it was always, and I was like, how can I be the youngest, man? I'm like 27, it's a problem. And so started kind of talking with friends and started like, okay, we need to do this. We need to get young people into these spaces because all this amazing knowledge, all the elders, all these libraries, where are we going to, how are we passing this stuff on, and how are we sharing this knowledge? And in 2012, we were able to, at the Slow Food event, we were able to connect with other young people. And we started this kind of movement because now we had this package to like connect young people. We had a space to do so. And what started happening was we started realizing that there's a lot of young people interested, a lot, right? And a lot of young people who are interested to work in food, and a lot of young people who are able to access employment, because what the biggest by far, and I'm sure it's still like this today, is that the biggest issue young people face is unemployment. And now you don't have access to universities because it's expensive and your marks weren't good and all the rest of it, and you can't get a job without university, so what do you do? But at the same time, you're in a position as a young person, the pension doesn't work anymore, social grants are not enough, and so you end up supporting your family and you may have children yourself, and so employment is the biggest thing. So young people are so like getting into ways to find employment through food because it's such a multifaceted space. And the biggest thing that we found was that in all of this, the political knowledge was what was lacking the most. So we wanted to start these like sessions, we call them the Saturday sessions, where we'd learn how to make samosas, but also learn about what is democracy and like what is feminism and what are the different kinds of, agricultural production, which never unfortunately happened, but the conversations were definitely there. So that now when you go to these events and organizations and spaces, there's a lot of young people, a lot more young people, even in positions of power. So I'm also very happy to speak with you afterwards about how to access a lot of that stuff as well. Thank you.